Windsurfing is a fantastic sport, and more than that, a way of life. The feeling of ultimate freedom while planing on the board is not comparable to anything else. I have been slalom, speed and foil windsurfing for over 10 years, and while those disciplines offer the ultimate feeling of planing freely on the water, it was only in these last 2 years that I discovered that there is more to windsurfing than pure speed. Raceboarding gives windsurfing another dimension. Using a raceboard, you can go in 5 knots of wind as well as 30 knots of wind on the same sail. This versatility gives the opportunity to do long-distance windsurf legs that are simply not possible with a slalom board in varying winds. In today's video, we will cross the Ambracian Gulf in the region of Epirus, Greece on a raceboard.
So last year I did a video here in Greece about the forgotten discipline of windsurfing, and this video was about formula windsurfing. Today we're gonna test the other forgotten discipline of windsurfing, which is raceboarding. And as some of you guys know, I did the kind of trip round Greece, I called it, I haven't finished it yet, round Greece on the raceboard and also on the foil. And today we have a different objective because we are here at the Ambracian Gulf, and this is basically almost like a huge inland lake behind Preveza, but it's not a lake, it's actually connected to the sea, and we want to cross it. So over there is where we want to get to Coronia, which is a beautiful spot, and it's about 10 kilometers. And then if the wind increases, we want to go like a little bit cruising around with the raceboards around this gulf, because I think this is what the raceboards really excel at, and where the big advantage of the raceboard is that you can go anywhere in any wind, because like you can see here, there's no wind. It's like 2-3 knots outside, maybe 10 knots, and with a foil board you would be able to do nothing. But I think with the raceboard we can really kind of cruise around this Ambracian Gulf, and across its 8 kilometers. The length is like 30 kilometers, so it's fairly big. Where are we? We're on the southern side, Wonica this is called. Over there you can see like a little castle. I'm here with my dad, and we have 2 raceboards. The Mistral Equip, which I used last year for the round Greece, and then we have the new one. And it is, what is it called? Fanatic Mega Cat.
Light Cat.
Are you ready to cross the Ambracian Gulf?
Oh, I'm so ready.
Looks like the perfect timing, because you can see outside where the water is getting a little bit dark, there's the wind line, and it's just coming closer every minute. So I think the 2 raceboards are pretty similar. I think the Fanatic has a little bit more volume, so it's a little bit better in light wind. Probably my dad will take this one, I will take the Mistral Equip. But the biggest disadvantage now with the Mistral Equip is that the other day, let me show you, that this, I don't know how you call this, the protection here where the dagger board goes, just broke off. So if I'm going fast, all the water is gonna splash through here. I mean, there's at least a little bit protection, but this will slow me down a lot. We'll both be using 7/9s. My dad will use the brand new AC2, and I actually discovered that the foil sail, the F1SL, works really good on the raceboard because it's high aspect, so you can go upwind pretty easily with it, and it has a deep belly, so also it keeps a lot of power. Timing was really perfect, the wind just filled in. The first target is, if you look behind the island, over there should be Coronia, that's where we want to go. Dad, you ready? Yeah. Woo. I guess we switch onto the GoPro now, and then I'll see you in Coronia. I'm using the Liberty harness because it's a little bit better for the back, I feel. And yeah, I'm using some shoes because you never know when you go off the board how the water is or the ground better. And yeah, I guess I'll stop talking now as the wind is here. Switch to the GoPro and let's go. So there we were, off to the race across the Ambracian Gulf. It's always a different feeling when you have a crossing and you're actually going somewhere instead of just sailing back and forth on a normal windsurf session. You never really know what to expect.
Woo! Let's figure out how we want to sail this. Let's try to keep clear of the island. Should be fun. 8-9 knots. So it shouldn't be more than half an hour, probably more like 20 minutes. The wind is like this. Here we go. 15 knots.
We actually had two very different race boards for this crossing. While my dad used the more modern Fanatic Megacat, I was on the much older Mistral equip. The Mistral is more narrow and has a smaller fin and dagger board, making the board a bit more unstable, worse in sailing upwind, but in turn it's a great board for when you're fully planing. The Megacat is a bit wider with more volume, so naturally better in light wind and upwind. In any case, we had good luck with the wind and were fully planing and making good way across the Gulf.
Made 2 kilometers of the 10, 1/5 of the way there. That's where we came from. Kilometers. To 18 knots. It's working pretty well. Didn't expect the wind to be so strong, but it's fun. Woo! Oh, we're making pretty good way. It's also kind of good to look back at the coastline to later being able to see where to go when we go back. We're a bit over halfway. We're slowing down a bit, so I'm guessing the wind here is getting a bit lighter. Still making like 10, 12 knots. And we've made 6 of the 10 kilometers. There's my dad. 17 minutes in. The wave is getting a bit more weird here. Wollen wir rechts oder links vom Hafen? Made it! Ah, don't fall in now. Oh, bin jetzt ein paar Mal in irgendwelche Sachen reingetreten. Hier sind irgendwelche Viecher. Seeigel oder so.
Well done. Was fun.
On the water, this part starts a little eliminating.
This part is out of the water. How old is this board?
37 years, first hand.
Oh, but the backpack is so heavy. I can feel we sailed 10.6 kilometers on one leg, and the back is kind of 10 kilos or something. So it's time to drink some stuff so the back gets lighter, and then we'll see if we're heading up there, maybe. Depends on the wind. But I didn't expect the wind to be this good, honestly. It was pretty good.
The premise is over there behind her.
Yeah, that's
that
Predator over this mountain.
So we have to attack completely here inside this side.
But first, let's take a little break and I'll show you Coronia. Found some locals. Let's have some drinks. Where are we going now?
Oh, let's go west.
West. West coast. So yeah, we're trying to head up to Preveza now, which would be between the two hills you can see over there, but I'm not sure we can make enough height, so maybe we have to zigzag a bit upwind. How's the sail for raceboarding?
It's very nice. No problem, easy rotation, but now
So now we want the dagger board for going upwind, but here it's very flat. So we're sailing out a bit and then take down the dagger board. You don't have a trim system, no?
Nope.
So I was actually following Jono Dannet a lot lately, who is this guy who windsurfed around Europe, and now he's actually windsurfing around Japan, and I read his book where he's windsurfing around Europe, and I have to say he kind of really inspired me to do things like that. And it's just a different dimension in windsurfing to get like kind of this adventure thing into the sport and not just surf on the same spot for hours on end, but to actually kind of more go into the unknown and make it like more of like an instrument for travel. And yeah, his book was really fascinating to read, that he windsurfed the whole way around Europe, and for sure it inspired me that I want to do some sort of similar thing in the future. At the moment for me it's kind of difficult to put it into reality because of all the work I have to do for Point 7, for Future Fly, for Liberty, all these kind of things, and I cannot just go 2-3 weeks and go offline. Just doesn't work for me at the moment, but for sure it's in my plans to do it sometime in the future. And I think you need to also plan it well, because there's so many aspects like the safety. You have to really think what do you do when something goes really wrong, how do you get rescued and all this kind of stuff. So you cannot just do it like from one day to the next. But for sure this kind of different dimension of windsurfing has fascinated me, and I would really like to do some sort of trip, maybe not to the extent that Jono Dannet is doing it, but something similar in the future. And I think could be also really cool concepts for YouTube to like just go on a long adventure with a windsurfing board. So yeah, let me know what you think about these kind of thoughts.
So
There's a big turtle over there. Don't know if you saw it. It was peeking out its head. Alright, just tagged. It's tough work to get up to Preveza. I don't know if we make that today or if we just make the crossing back. Like now the ley line would be straight back to Wonica. Alright, I'd say we're about 1/3 of the way back to Wonica, and the wind is slowly picking a little bit up again. First we were doing 6-7 knots, now more like 7 to 8, and it looks like it's getting stronger. My dad is a little bit further ahead and it seems like he's already going good up there. So 19 kilometers done. I don't think we're going to Preveza. Too much maybe for the day. The wind is much stronger on this side. There's a big gust coming.
So we didn't really end up going all the way to Preveza this day because it was just too far and it would have been risky to go that late in the day and risk that the wind will die and we would not come back. So we just ended up cruising to some islands. Unfortunately, the GoPro died like 15 minutes before the end of the session, and then we made it back around 7 to Wonica, all the way to where we came from, to complete the trip. And yeah, I really did enjoy it, especially that my dad joined me for this trip. And let me know in the comments down below if you like this kind of content about the long distance windsurfing, because I know the action shots, there's not as much spectacle as like with slalom windsurfing or speed windsurfing or whatever. But I really enjoy it, so let me know if you enjoy this kind of content as well. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one.